Hello dearies, welcome back to the Craft Kitchen and another episode of my mini-series, my August mini-series, Back to Basics, Use What You Have. So in this mini-series I'm going to make a junk journal from what most of you might already have at home, meaning making a junk journal from, junk, without having to pay a fortune. In the last video I made the signatures for my journal and I already made the covers for each signature using unloved papers and printing some foliage on. Well, these are actually grasses. And I also covered most of the page with acrylic paints, but not using a gel plate, but just a brayer. So I guess parts of this video will only be fast forward and music because my son had some friends over, still has, I don't know if you can hear it, and they were quite loud at some point. It's teenagers, so it's okay with me. Therefore I'm starting the video talking, but at some point I just gave up on this. So I took out some papers I didn't like when they came out of the oven. So like this one, this is sort of minty green because it was laying on top of a green sheet. As you can see, it's white, or was white on this side, and took on the color. Then this purple that didn't turn enough red for my liking. Here, the grunge didn't work with the avocado skin dye on my craft color paper, and I really don't like how these turned out. It's boring, just too boring. So I also took out some acrylic paints, a brayer, a palette knife, as well as these glimmer spray paints. Well, we'll see. Then I do have a bit of fabric paint left, green and red. This is really, really old. What else? Of course, some rags, fabric, as well as my white plies from napkins, already dyed. Then I do have water, homemade gesso, and I guess we will see. I will get some coffee in a spray bottle as well. I don't know yet. So I'm starting by adding layers of, at least one layer of gesso to this. And I'm not going to work on this glass mat because this is much too hard underneath. So I'm using my silicone mat for this. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I did have a glass mat or a glass board in the beginning already. You can also use baking paper to protect your desk, or a plastic tablecloth would also do. I do have one that's maybe 15 years old. Didn't look that good after 3 years, but I kept it. My son used it when he was little on the kitchen floor, wearing an old shirt of mine, playing with acrylic paints. Too cute. So this is homemade gesso, made from school glue, white acrylic paint and calcium carbonate. And while my gesso coated papers are drying, I'm gonna be painting some, or rolling some paint onto those two. Onto those two. Yeah, there's already gesso. I'm not paying too much attention because in the end it's a junk journal, and if I wanted to have it, yeah, like perfectly, I would have started making scrapbooks, probably. So let's see. We do have orange, this reddish brown, more red, of course, coffee, and also, where is it? A bit of blue here, maybe. It's not too loud. A bit of, yeah, this blue and the signatures. So maybe this is a bit more light than this, but then again this one is already dyed. So I guess I'm going to be using this teal color, turquoise, as well, but not as is. Just the tiniest bit muted. Let's see. Oh, maybe we get a nice color if I mix this brown with my turquoise. It will turn a bit greenish. Well, this is a really dirty bluish, greenish blue, bluish green, I don't know, but it has nothing in common with this. So you know what I'm going to do, because this is the only page with this bold line, this bold turquoise line. I'm going to use a really stiff bristled dry brush and just dab over this. And because I'm pretty much sure I can't recreate this color as easy, I'm going to take out some smaller pieces of paper as well to have some of this paint on my later ephemera. See, and when I predetermine where my pages are going, or yeah, at least what papers I want to use, I already can see where my middle fold is and how my pages will look when they are in the journal. So, and since I still have some paint here, some of this greenish paint, I'm gonna be using this for some more ephemera pieces. So now it's time to take these pages to the next level. This has only a really thin coating of gesso yet. it's about dry. So the gesso is dry, but the paper still not, but let's continue. So again, pouring gesso here on my glass mat, or yeah, on any surface you have to work with. Silicone mat, baking paper, the baking tray, whatever. A huge tile would also do. Or you have a small tile, just like this. Put your paint on there. Work on this with your brayer and have something underneath your papers to roll. Why is there a shadow? Oh, okay. This annoys me. It just annoys me. And I'm going to mix in a bit brown acrylic paint, hopefully just a bit. I'm not going to be using wet mediums here, like coffee, for example, because, yeah, this homemade gesso has the right consistency for me to work with. Wow. Well, it's a nice brownish color. Reminds me of mushrooms. But I guess I want to have this a bit darker, so I'm adding the tiniest bit of black paint as well. My homemade gesso has the exact consistency I like to work with. So if I would add water to this, this would be the coffee, or I don't know. Why is this? Oh, this was too much. So more brown. Sorry. Yeah, mixing these colors for me is always an experiment, because I don't tend to use some sort of measurement for this. Just mix what comes to mind. Not what comes to mind, the amount that comes to mind. I know the tiniest bit about color theory because I had to learn this at school. So yeah, still a bit too light. Well, no, actually not. I like it. So again, placing this here, taking on a bit of paint and just go over this. Just, I don't know, randomly. I absolutely will have those sort of blobs here. That's because of my really, yeah, not that good brayer. But you know what? I don't care. I really don't care. So going to let this dry as well. And what you also could do, where is it? Hello. Ah, there it is. Just use a plastic card. Doesn't matter. Take on a bit of paint and just go over your page like this. And spread your paint. This will become a bit more, what's the word? I can't remember the word. So yeah, the paint will be all over. I guess you get what I mean. So just taking this on here, like so. So I have a bit more, much more brown here. So, and for my last sheet, I'm going to be using, do I want to use paper? No. I'm going to be using my rag. Let's see, I guess I want to have this a bit more watery. Let's roll this off here. A bit more here. And now adding a bit more water. And now I'm crumbling up my rag, just like this. Take on some color, and then I'm going to dab on the paint here. So in the end I will have 3 different looks of brown dyed papers for my signature covers. But this will not be the last layer, because I don't like it yet. And most often when you don't like the outcome of what you did on your papers, so what you painted on, what you smashed on, whatever, keep going. This looks completely different from this, but I really, really enjoy it. Now, and of course, I do have some of my paint here on my palette knife. Where are my envelopes with my smaller pieces? So what you could do as well is use your palette knife, the rest of what you have here, and just scrape a bit onto your paper so that it will really look old and dirty and whatnot. Yeah, I'm going to put a stack of coffee dyed papers underneath my silicone mat because it just annoys me how thin this mat actually is. So I will have a bit of a cushion underneath my papers. So let's see, I need another color for this. Maybe I'm just going over with this beige another time with my brayer. Really, really thin. So, and I'm actually going to do this with many different colors, I guess, until I think I like what I see on here. And only then I'm gonna be painting or rolling, brayering, whatever, the back side of my papers. we made ourselves some really, really nice signature covers or maybe background papers just by using acrylic paints. And what I forgot to tell you, these acrylic paints I've been using, so the big bottles, let me get one, like these, 250 milliliters, they are actually just 250 per bottle. Well, you wouldn't want to use them for painting because they're way too watery, and also, yeah, they don't have that many pigments. But for this project, or yeah, just for junk journaling, they are perfect. Of course, you can also use like these, I don't know, kids paints, school paints, whatever, that come in these big bottles. For this, I guess the consistency, sorry, it's, yeah, similar to my acrylic paints. And really, you don't have to buy them in big amounts. I mean, you have seen how much I've been using, or how less I've been using for this. And I changed my signature covers as well as some of my pages a great deal. So here, this is the mark making with the corrugated cardboard. I just, yeah, sprayed with water as long as it was looking like this. And then let it sit for a few minutes, and I tried to not peel off all of the paper. So I do have like, yeah, this brick wall look in the end. Also, this will make a perfect background for clusters with paint or without paint, just really nice. Then, yeah, the printed leaves. I'm not really sure if I like the leaf printing in combination with the grass printing, because this is much more delicate than the leaf printing. Yeah, I'll see. I don't know yet. This is, to me, quite a bit of a difference in style. Really, I don't know, although I printed the leaves on the back sides of my grass prints. Really, I don't know yet. And yeah, I've also been using some pages in my signatures for pressing on my grasses here to the cover pages. Also this baking paper, which is already, yeah, sort of crumpled the tiniest bit. Yeah, you can see it. So it looks a bit like, I don't know, wood grain, I'd say, because I let something wet dry on this overnight, or something damp, I don't remember, but I've been using this to press on my grasses as well. And as you can see here, the acrylic paint stays on my baking paper, and of course I'm going to use this. Well, yeah, this is much bigger than my papers, but we'll see. So, and yeah, not only the mark making and the leaf printing or foliage printing, I also painted over the book pages, or yeah, wrote my acrylic paint and some gesso over the book pages, just to bring the writing in the background. So here I've been covering the turquoise line here in the background. Looked about like this, very loud, with just a color I've been using for my signatures, for the signature covers. I'm not sure if I like it yet, but that's the fun with making your own sort of papers. You always can change the look by adding more paint or just pieces of book pages or whatnot. It doesn't have to stay like this. And here I didn't even cover the edge of this page. This has been a map, or it's still a map, but you can't see it that good anymore, because this yellow here, as well as the turquoise, will give me a chance to decide later if I want to add more colors. So like getting this yellow here to this page maybe, or here to the edge, just to have a sort of repetition of this color. And yeah, I also could say, okay, I don't like it, I don't want to have this color in my journal, so I'm going to cover it with this yellow and this, yeah, let's say petrol. I will challenge myself because I don't use like bold colors that often, and personally I tend to stick to a color scheme with many neutral tones, so browns, beige, maybe some really light red, so more warm, but also more cold, like yeah, this light blue, for example. So it's actually not light blue, I'd say it's a really light teal. Yeah, but having these bold colors, or like this darkish red, is a challenge for me. And that's another thing in using what you have. You might not have the printables you prefer, you might not have all the inks you prefer, or the colors of the inks you prefer. But if you give yourself a chance to just use what you have, also color-wise, it will not only spark your creativity, but also challenge it. Dearies, I really hope I could give you some ideas or inspiration to start making your signatures and maybe color your not really loved or not as loved papers a bit. And for the next episode, I'm planning to give a bit more interest to these blank pages, also to this, of course. I already added some interest here on this page. Not really done with it yet, but it's a start. And for this, I guess I will be using some watercolors, but not the more expensive watercolors you mostly see when someone's making a watercolor tutorial, but I'm going to be using those. So those are just school watercolors. These are really, really cheap and translucent, no matter how much paint you use. And these I got out of the drawer of my son. These are more opaque. Those I got for $2.50, I guess. So really, really cheap. And these were, I don't know, about 10 euros. This is, what they are supposed to use in arts class in school. Well, I got my son some better watercolors just because I didn't want him to lose interest in art by using cheap and not as good materials. So I can use these for making my junk journals. So dearies, hope to see you next time when we're going to continue working on the signatures. Until then, stay creative and be excellent to each other. Bye!